Today, I have an extremely difficult announcement to make regarding Police Chief Brian O'Hara. Last year, we received an anonymous complaint alleging the chief had engaged in sexually intimate relationships with city employees. When complaints or allegations come forward involving any employee, especially someone in a position of leadership, they are reviewed thoroughly and independently. That was the case here. An outside investigation was conducted, extensive interviews were completed, and numerous staff participated. Several months ago, that investigation concluded, and we received a report stating that the allegations were not substantiated. Those allegations remain not substantiated. However, today, I received a report of findings from an additional investigation that showed Chief O'Hara interfered with the investigation process. Specifically, investigators found that he intentionally deleted a contact card for an individual from his city-issued cell phone during the original investigation in an attempt to shield that evidence of his connection to the person from investigators. And even though he was instructed not to discuss the investigation itself with anyone, he told another city employee that his city cell phone had been taken from him for the investigation. Although the investigators have concluded that this interference does not change their ultimate conclusion contained in the original report, in other words, the allegations of relationships with city employees, the interference itself is a breach of trust. Because of that, I informed the chief that I would be disciplining him up to and including discharge, and he resigned. I have accepted his resignation. This is not about being intolerant of mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, including me. But what I can't allow is a breach of trust. When you serve as chief of the Minneapolis Police Department, trust is not secondary to the job, it is the job. And when trust is broken, it becomes extremely difficult to continue leading effectively. The MPD has worked hard to rebuild credibility and trust with the community and within its own ranks. Our staff and residents need to know that they can trust not just the department, but also the person leading it. While the right decision was clear, it was not made lightly. Chief O'Hara has served this city through extraordinarily difficult moments in Minneapolis history, including the shooting at Annunciation and Operation Metro Surge. Under his leadership, we made real progress, from reform efforts to rebuilding the department, to bringing in new officers and strengthening public safety across the city. In many respects, he's been successful in his responsibilities as chief, and I'm grateful for his work. But my responsibility is first and foremost to the people of Minneapolis and to maintaining confidence in the institutions that serve them. That responsibility must come first. I know many people will have questions, and so in the interest of transparency, public data related to this matter will be released upon submission of a data request consistent with state law. As for next steps, Assistant Chief Katie Blackwell will serve as the acting chief effective immediately. I have full confidence that she will provide stability, continuity, and strong leadership for the department during this transition. Our work to build a police department that is effective, that is accountable, and worthy of the public's trust continues, and it will continue moving forward from here. With that, I'll open it to questions.
Frey, you seem to have an idea of what at least some or one of these complaints were about. Given that it happened last year, why just a few weeks ago throw your support behind Chief O'Hara?
Yeah. We did not know then what we do know now. As I said, as recently as the chief's announcement and his renomination, these complaints are going to get vetted thoroughly. If there's something that comes up that requires additional attention, there will be discipline. That discipline is taking place here today. If I had known earlier, I would not have renominated him. If I found out later after this confirmation, I would have reached the same conclusion. Please. But I'm also not going to hold this department in limbo. I'm not going to hold the people of Minneapolis in limbo. It's not as if one complaint comes in, that complaint is investigated, and then there are no more complaints. These are independently investigated. We do not know how long they last. We do not know their legitimacy upon entry into the system, and so we look into them. The report itself was issued today. Liz.
The report was issued today, but the allegations are not new. This started with a complaint last spring.
Correct.
It was closed, and
Correct.
then new evidence came forward just before Christmas.
Correct.
Why was he not removed from duty during that time, or his driver,
Yeah.
when there was a credible new evidence and the investigation was reopened?
Well, Liz, it's the right question. We've been investigating this for quite some time, about a year, as you have been as well. The allegations, as I mentioned, contained in the original complaint were not substantiated. I can't, as mayor, operate off of rumor or anonymous complaints. I have to operate off of evidence that has been substantiated by, in this case, an independent investigator. So the original complaint was not substantiated. New evidence came in through a complaint. New allegations came in through a complaint. We investigated that as well immediately. And you're seeing me here today telling you exactly what we are disciplining on and why.
Mayor, you said that trust is important. Why give the chief the option to resign at all? If this is such a big deal, an important deal, why not just fire him on the spot?
Yeah. So first, it's important to know what we are disciplining him on. What I did was I went to the chief. I informed him not just of the allegations, but of the substantiated claims within the report itself. I told him that I would be disciplining him up to termination. When allegations and a report is used for discipline, the report becomes public, which is the case today. I informed the chief that I would be disciplining him, and that's up to and including discharge, and he resigned, and I accepted the resignation. It was an extremely painful decision, obviously, but I concluded that that was necessary to maintain public trust, and this was the right way to move forward as a city. So he was ultimately disciplined, did receive a letter. It did not make sense to offer further discipline when he was resigning himself.
Mayor, this report pretty much says that the chief lied about his behavior throughout this investigation. Did he apologize to you, or will he be apologizing to the people of Minneapolis?
I won't speak for the chief here today.
What was the nature of your conversation?
The nature of the conversation was outlining the present status of the investigation, the report that itself had been issued, that there were substantiated claims within the report itself, and that I was going to be disciplining on both of them. In any allegation, in any complaint, there may be things that are substantiated, and there may be things that fall short of that. We did things by the book. We made sure that they were immediately investigated the moment we learned about them. We are disciplining on the substantiated investigations. We are not disciplining on those that were not substantiated. Ernesto.
Are you satisfied that the allegations of sexual impropriety that were not substantiated by investigators are not true? Or does the conduct that got him ousted raise questions in your mind about whether, in fact, some of that behavior may have transpired but was not known out?
Yeah. So the original complaint was that there was inappropriate relationships with a subordinate of a sexual nature. I can't speculate as to what took place. What I can say is that those allegations were investigated substantially. Numerous interviews were conducted. Tons of witnesses were interviewed. And we could not get and did not get an investigation report that stated that it was more likely than not that it took place. The first determination, obviously, that you need to make is that it happened. I am not the person best equipped to make that determination. That is why we sent it to the independent investigators. Is it possible? Yes. Is it more likely than not, according to the report? No. They did not make that determination.
Fair to say no city official came through the front door and alleged that the chief had acted inappropriately toward them?
I am not aware of an individual alleging sexual relations with themselves. I am not aware of a person that has come forward to state that there have been sexual relationships with them.
Well, there's two more questions. Mayor, I have a question, if I may.
You may.
This further taints our police department that continues to kind of crawl out of a dark hole. You guys have several reform efforts going, officer shortage. What does this do when, an officer that may be graduating wants to join a department that now has this to swallow?
We've made tremendous strides in this city over the last several years. Recruitment is dramatically up. We bottomed out at around 550 officers. We're now hovering around 640. I believe so. That number continues to trend up from there. We just swore in a class of 28 recruits and I believe 4 laterals. Probably want to check my numbers on that though. We're undergoing reforms. The work that we're doing to hire police is not up to one single chief or one single mayor. We're on board to get the job done. The work to do substantial reform is not up to one single chief or any single mayor. I've issued an executive order, and we've got a settlement agreement that is signed. Our department is committed to it. And so, look, the work is going to continue. Am I deeply saddened by the events that have taken place today, what we have had to do? I am. It's also the right thing for the city. And so, no, the work will continue. I'm proud of the officers that have stayed and the officers that have come on that want to be part of this change, and there's no doubt in my mind that it'll continue. Kyle.
With respect to Commissioner Barnett being here, the work will continue, but it is possible, given what we've just been going through with the city council, that the city could soon be without its top 2 public safety officials, or at least the 2 most visible. That has to be disruptive to the work getting done.
Yeah, of course, that's a concern. Thank you, Kyle. Commissioner Barnett continues to have my full support. The acting chief, Blackwell, is up for the job. The interim chief will be a decision that is made in the very near future, and we're going to make sure that we're going to conduct a search for the next chief of the Minneapolis Police. I'm confident, given that we are in a substantially different place than we were 3 and 5 years ago, that we're on the right track, that we'll recruit a top-notch talent, and that we're able to progress around both the safety metrics that we're looking for as well as the reform.
The cell phone was taken during the original investigation. Why are we just hearing about it now in this reopened investigation?
Yeah, thank you, Liz. So the report goes into this in actually very deep fashion. There was not a finding on this particular matter in the original report. The secondary investigation dug much deeper, and all that information is contained within the report, and that part is not redacted. It's included. Thanks, everybody.